Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the stream of the third mini tournament, day 2. Let me get you the... I need to hide that. Let me get you the drafting lobby. There we go. And let's get going. Also, unlike what the stream title is indicating, let me actually fix that. I'm not alone, I have a co-caster, even though he's rather involuntary co-caster, I guess. It's Fynx. Good evening.
Hello.
Everyone ready?
Ready.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm waiting for our people from SLL there to say something. Okay then. There we go. We are starting the drafting. There has been a little change from the last time we did, so it has been adjusted that Team 1 is now also banning the gun first. So Team 1 on red has to do everything first. Then rather quick bans here, obvious choices with Pyrrha and Fish.
It would seem there's no change to current meta in drafting, in banning ships.
Yeah.
Pyramidion and Goldfish, as always, as the most annoying offenders in the games.
I mean, like last week, Fish was banned in almost every match. Pyrrha, not necessarily. They have been a few Pyrrhas around, but it's like when Pyrrha is not banned, someone immediately brings an Ardling. It's bound to happen. But for now, we have Mervyn bringing the classic SLL, or triple L actually, Magnate. And he is doing Lumber Corsair. Actually, it's surprising that he goes Lumberjack on the front, even though there have been no bans yet.
Depending on the map, the Lumberjack or the Heavy Carronade on the front of Corsair might be a preferable choice, and against the long-range Magnate, this Lumberjack allows for some long-range options as well, especially against Mercury's. Corsair with Lumberjack can get close in to the Magnate or stay away and manipulate the altitude to keep the Magnate down and away from Mercury arcs.
So, red team got to ban a gun here, and they banned Artemis. The gun, not the player.
Which is interesting, since Pyramidion is not allowed and Artling is not a danger.
Yeah, but and I don't think that we will see Junker out of blue team or red team at this point. Also, blue team banning a light Carronade.
I believe Mason had an option of flying a Junker with some Carronades and being pretty effective at that, so perhaps that was the danger they saw.
Oh, but now it seems like he will fly your stock standard. Scratch the stock standard, he will probably fly a Broad Crusader. It's getting more and more interesting by the second here. That is an interesting Crusader setup. Well, at least for me it is, as I'm used to a bit of a different setup.
Double Banshee Heavy Carronade. Definitely I haven't seen this yet on Crusader. Perhaps it's effective against certain number of ships, such as Squid probably.
Yeah. And Ultimate's going for the get double get Banshee Squid. Yeah. We can definitely see the ideas people are bringing.
I would assume that Ultimate's going to switch with Tears, and Tears is going to fly that Squid, while Ultimate's is going to fly that Corsair.
Well, also, sorry to interrupt you, but could you give us a minute for the in-game, minute in-game? But no. And speaking of in-game, let me give you the in-game. Put this off, this on. There we go. We are in the lobby. And as you might have figured already, also Sputnik, thank you for the follow. On red team, we have SLL with the pilots, Moshana and Mervyn. And on the blue team, we are joined by the Cathedral Architects with Tears of Fuel and Artemis. So, not much surprise. To no one's surprise, I guess. Artemis is actually flying the Corsair. And we are already starting. Okay, we're going off. And so, when we go in, Fynx, can you start a timer and then call up blue team?
If I figure out how to do that, certainly.
Just escape, moderate match, match timer, scroll all the way down 20 minutes.
Alright.
Only thing is you can't scroll in the menu, you have to whack the bar. So, ship number 1 is the Paradis. It's a Crusader piloted by Moshana. On the right side we have Watcher, Flak, Gatling, and on the left side we have Caronate Double Banshee. Ship number 2 is the Fluffy Moth, Magnate piloted by Mervyn. On the left side we have Double Mercury Heavy Flak Mark II, and on the right side we have a Gatling Mortar Watcher.
On the blue team, ship number 3 is a Squid, Ratus Eradicatus, piloted by Tears Fuel, with Gatling on the front, Banshee side, Gatling on the aft. And the last ship on the blue team is a Corsair Potato, piloted by Artemis, with Lumberjack on the front, 2 Watchers on the sides, Gatlings on the sides, and a flag on the aft.
And already getting their Lumberjack disabled by long-range Mercury Fire. Also, I think Tears of Fuel has played a bit too much Vermintide.
It's quite possible. We can see the blue team deciding on approach from 2 sides to disallow the enemies shoot at the same arcs, both of the blue ships at the same time.
Well, we can also see the what we would also see was in the lobby with the Corsair Magnate having a build that can do fairly well against the Corsair, and the Crusader having a build against the Squid.
It would seem the Corsair is unsuccessful trying to pop the red ships.
Yep, there we go. That is a pop, but Ratos whatever. The Squid has also been popped. Before I trip over that name 3 times in a row, I just say Squid.
It makes sense.
Okay, Paradis having Squid in the rear, getting the Gatling going on them, but no break yet. The Banshee's being fired.
Magnate desperately trying to get arcs on the Squid, but being popped and controlled, the Crusaders going to be double teamed instead.
Yeah, Paradis is firing off a Watcher onto the Potato, disabling their left side guns.
And there comes the break on Crusader.
Oh, double broken actually. with almost no follow-up. Squid broken. I mean, yeah,
It
Squid.
would be extremely dangerous for the Squid if the Magnate was actually using the long range side due to the heavy flag, but they're using close range side instead.
Question is, how reliably can you land this heavy flag Mark II on a moving Squid?
A tricky shot, but if they land it, it's all over.
That is true. Okay, Resilience is firing a Watcher into the rear of Potato, not really accomplishing that much. Not getting focused by the Squid, who is currently standing outside the arcs. Getting broken, and significant chunk of their perma just went away.
Crusade is considered to be countered by the Squid, so the Corsair and Squid opted for a split engagement, 1-1v1s. And here we come. Crusader broken and almost dead.
Also, Crusader is currently not going anywhere with that missing engine. Another break, and branches go out. Fireworks! As it is indeed the 4th of... sorry, it will be the 4th of July tomorrow, but we're already celebrating. First kill for Blue, also known as Cathedral Architects. And Fluffy Moth will shortly follow. So there isn't much left on that ship. There we go.
The blue team lost almost no perma-hull. It looks like the tactics with popping one ship, focusing the other, and then splitting to whatever is most convenient for them worked well.
Yeah, and it also seems that the Magnate hadn't really had an opportunity to get their long range going on the Corsair, as they were more or less immediately interrupted by the Squid. And the Corsair was doing really good cover play.
To some extent, I think the Corsair was utilizing that wreckage as a cover from the Magnate, and then once they got a pop, they were just going above the enemy ships and popping them from above. It seems it worked.
Doesn't Mercury arc up rather well?
To some extent, sure, but still, it's easier to get arcs with a lumberjack from above than Mercury arcs from below.
Okay, so our Blood Team has respawned, being immediately engaged. Not yet really spotted. Never mind. Engaged by the blue team here, and Paradis, which was going straight for the Corsair, already broken and half the perma is missing.
I'm afraid it might be just the faster repeat of the same situation as it was in the previous engagement, which is Magnet being popped and Crusader taking perma damage from being double teamed.
Yeah. So this time around we actually have the Mercuries going to a certain extent, but that already is stopped again, and Crusader is getting double focused. Firing off the Watcher onto the Squid, disabling the front Gatling. And Paradis is already is broken once more, and they only have...
Crusader broken, but no explosive damage following.
Yeah.
However, again, the engagements were split into two. Squid going against Crusader, Magnet trying to support them, but being popped by the Corsair. Yeah. Actually, the Corsair and Magnet have some sort of wreckage in between them, so Corsair cannot shoot Magnet.
But the Corsair can very well shoot the Crusader, and they get the get kill, as there wasn't much left in the perma of the Crusader.
Magnate, while the Crusader got destroyed.
And now they just move in for the Fluffy Morph, get firing off a Watcher, disabling a lot of their guns, but getting a retaliation Watcher into them. Not gonna do much, though, as the Squid still has all of them and can very well just go ham on the Magnet.
Getting disabled on a Corsair isn't enough if his ally is shooting you. The Corsair can tank pretty well the hell out of perma hull. Just a disable won't do that.
Yeah, and with that, Both red ships have once been destroyed. Current score is 4-0 in favor of blue. 12.5 minutes on the clock. And blue still hasn't suffered any significant perma damage. I mean, you might even say that that little bit of perma missing on the squid is basically nothing.
It's pretty much nothing, that's true. You can touch the ground and die from that, so it doesn't matter if you have 95 or 100%. Well, it does matter, but not too much.
I mean, especially on the squid, those 5% aren't that much.
Once the squid starts taking perma damage, it's in tens of percent, so there was just some Gatling shots going into the hole.
Yeah. I mean, squid hasn't got the lowest perma, but almost the lowest perma. So, red team has respawned once more. Immediately spotted, engaged. Same drill as last time. And Paradis is already struggling against the squid here.
Not exactly. Squid got one of the engines disabled and right now pulling back into cover, unable to... Well, in danger, actually.
Yeah.
Possible.
Squid is possibly dying. Oh, yeah. Now the Corsair comes in to save the day. Crusader double broken. Squid. Well, it seems like Tears of Fuel wants to pull a mighty cap.
Squid staying alive barely.
Yeah. With
Magnet lost the armor at some point, but got in cover from Corsair.
Okay, Magnet now
However,
going
Crusader
straight
staying
for
on the
the
ground,
Corsair. Fluffy broken. With Banshees going into them. Crusader joining the fight again, getting the Watcher and Gatling going on the squid and killing it off. And now the Corsair will be in the double focus. Right? Double broken, actually.
It's only so long you can survive without perma-hull at all on a squid. The moment your armor breaks, you're dead.
Yeah. And with the Crusader, Corsair being in the double focus, they shouldn't last for much longer. Yeah.
Despite that moonshine, Corsair is not really a super fast ship that can eat away to safety after his ally dies. And we're past the half the match timer.
Yeah. I mean, Corsair has a... okay. Before I say anything, I'm gonna check my stats sheet again. Shout out to Zetnos for putting that thing together. It's amazing. Where's Corsair? I think Corsair's top speed isn't all too bad, but it's not much. It's not the worst out of the heavy ships.
It's still a heavy ship, can't get away.
Yeah, and the acceleration isn't really great.
Naturally, it could be changed by using drift sail, but we don't really see any Corsair pilots bringing drift.
I mean, I haven't seen that much drift on Corsair. Well, actually, I haven't really seen it at all, at least in the in SCS. Okay, so red team, we're back to the situation at the start of the match with red team huddling together, facing away from each other, and blue team being split up. And
actually, it's slightly better for the red team that was in the beginning of the game, because Magnet managed to get close to the Corsair. The Corsair had to get some range in order to make the lumberjack effective.
But now the Corsair is in a very good position against the Magnet, as the Magnet isn't really able to get the height, the altitude. Okay, and what's going on here? Squid eating a lot of Banshee and getting popped. And Okay, no break.
Squid not really in danger, and Magnate actually staying in cover, kind of, from Corsair.
Yeah,
Probably not
Corsair is
going to
pushing
die on the
forwards
ground
now,
there.
and B is able to partially able to rain down fire on the Magnate. But not
The
taking
moment-
any chances, it seems.
For the moment Crusader turns and goes for the Corsair, the Squid's ready to come back.
And this time they go for the Magnate.
That being said, Lumberjack versus Crusader from close range is not exactly the best idea. However, with Magnate on the ground,
Ooh. Oh, but
yes.
did the Corsair ram or did the Crusader ram?
Not sure. Didn't exactly see that. In any case, the combined fire from the Squid and Corsair managed to secure a kill.
Yep. And with that, Cathedral Architects take the first match of our best of 3. And we will move on to the second match after a short break. We will be back, don't go anywhere. And we're coming back once more. Let me do that. There is the drafting lobby. Hide that. There we go. Okay, drafting is starting. And there we go. We are back in the drafting. Teams have swapped sides. So now we have Cathedral Architects on red and SLL on blue. So what will we have here? Actually, red team immediately banning Crusader.
That probably means the red team wants to pick an Artling first, or a fish.
If blue team doesn't ban fish.
It's actually a win-win situation. They're probably fine with picking either one, and they're just leaving to the blue team which one they don't want to play more against.
Yeah. And also since red team has the first pick, if they would now pick a Artling, blue team couldn't pick one.
Surprisingly enough, they're not picking an outlying, instead they're opting for a magnate. You might assume that the blue team simply doesn't fly outlings too often.
That would actually be the case. And I mean, Magnate, yeah, fair enough. And it of course also denies Mervyn his Magnate if he wants to pick it.
Knowledge of enemy pilot's habits is probably super important in this drafting system.
Yeah. So we have a Magnate, relatively normal. I guess you mostly see it with an Artemis on lumber side. Or actually with an Artemis on either side, really. But I guess
a flag allows on the lumber side allows for shooting from below. It makes sense.
yeah.
Also, if on the close range side an Artemis is a better control option, but it doesn't allow for quick kills such as flag in this case.
Mervyn actually picking a Judgment. Yeah. Lumber, get Artemis. That's an interesting combination. Because a bit more common would be Lumberjack, Artemis on the left side, and the Hades on the right side. Or Laser.
Or laser. However, this allows for some close range options, unlike its long range version.
Yeah, especially Laser severely limits close range potential. And red team once again banning light Carronade.
They really hate it.
Could be. And blue team banning heavy Carronade.
No balloon popping allowed anymore.
I mean, you still have 2 Lumberjacks. Actually, why ban heavy Carronade there? I guess you can play heavy Carronade on a Shrike or on a Stormbreaker. Speaking of Stormbreaker, that's what Ultimates picks. Toxin and Stormbreaker.
Still, against Judgment, it would seem that heavy Huacha is more effective than heavy Carronade. Since once you get close to Judgment, he's as well as outmaneuvered instantly by design.
And getting engine disabled on a Judgment, or just getting disabled on a Judgment, is really problematic, as that thing is not maneuverable at all. And especially against faster ships like Stormbreaker, you can very easily outmaneuver them and get your guns in. Moshana actually picking a Corsair. And going for the triple Watcher, as he can't pick a front heavy Caro.
They still can pick a Lumberjack. And I think a Lumberjack, well, this is my personal opinion, but the Lumberjack is more versatile than a Huacha on the front of the Corsair. It's a kind of a long-range map, although there are some close-range options there.
Okay, and that is what he will bring. Then this is the thing. I will give the minute. And I will give you, my dear 2 viewers, no, actually 3, I'm sorry. The lobby, as the in-game lobby. Click this button and click this button. There we go. We are in-game. So, Ashen Scuffle. Seems like people still need to adjust. Actually, Artemit's flying the Magnate.
And that is unusual.
Indeed, I would have actually expected Tears to fly the Magnate. Just checking really quick if that everything has been adjusted. Yep, there we go. Yeah. And well done. Fynx, if you would be so kind to press the magic button.
I'd hate to do that looking at that Corsair, but well then. Full start, is that so?
Yes. They had a minute. They actually had more than a minute, more like 1.5.
Hope they won't be crying afterwards.
I mean, they will only be crying if they lose.
They might be crying before they lose.
That might be the case as well. But I guess they can still they can ask a lot of their changes, and if the other team agrees, it's perfectly fine.
And the other team usually agrees.
Yeah. Anyways, I will get us going. While you start the timer, hopefully. With ship number 1. Crusty Ankles, a Stonebreaker, put with Tears of Fuel. On the heavy gun side, on the right, we have a Watcher. On the left side, we have Gatling and Double Banshee. Ship number 2 is the Ramiel. Magnate, piloted by Artemis. On the right side, we have a Gatling, a Flak, and a Watcher. On the left side, we have a Hades, Flak, and Lumberjack.
On the blue team, we have a Corsair Paradis, piloted by Musin, with triple Huacha Gatlings on the side and Flamer on the aft. And it's a Judgment, piloted by Mirwen Bepi's Moth. It has a Lumberjack on the front with Artemis Gatling, and on the aft there's a Huacha and another Gatling.
Yeah, thankfully it's not called Bamboozle Moth or Boombazzle Moth. I remember a match where the ship was called Bamboozle Moth, and I always called it Boombazzle because that's what it was called in the previous match or something like that. It was really confusing.
There are some pilots that like intentionally making the names complicated.
Like Parasiastus.
Yeah. Although I don't think they had us in mind here.
Yeah. So, focusing on what is actually going on here, we have the Crusty Ankles being shot at and shooting out as well, of course. Pepper's mouth popped. Ramiel was shot. And Pepper's mouth is already popped. Broken and dead. What am I talking about?
Taking a lot of damage instantly.
Yes.
Focused by both enemy ships.
So, that was a rather quick first kill. Obtained by the Cathedral. Could they please stop moving out of my frame? Cathedral Architects on red.
Although it has to be said that Magnet also took some perma damage there.
Yeah, they already lost. They lost half of it in the engagement there.
I have a feeling if that Magnet had that banned heavy carnage, that the Corsair had that banned heavy carnage, the Magnet would be down on the ground dead already. Instead, we have the red team scoring 2-0 from the start.
On very quickly, I have to say. I mean, there was an SCS mirrors that was over by now, but we don't want to stress.
Oh, the blue team Judgment respawned already, and the red is inside. Looks like mid-grind time.
Yeah, this is a bit of an unfortunate situation for the blue team, as their Judgment is already taking all the fire from both red ships, while the Parasias is just now respawning and coming into the fight. Slowly. And Babba's mouth already
Parasias is actually going into the fight. Yes, it's classic mid grind here.
Yes. I mean, even if Parasiasis dies, SLL still has one chance to do still has a chance to do a full reset. It's not a really good position to start off being 4-0 behind. Yeah, and obviously since Parasiasis is in a double focus, fully disabled and going down. 4-0 lead for Cathedral Architects, 16:20 on the clock.
What do you think the blue team has to do with those ships? What kind of approach they should perform in order to turn this situation around?
I guess what they want is having the judgment firing at whatever ship goes in first, and the Corsair staying close to it and probably going for the Stormbreaker when he comes in, like acting as a kind of a bodyguard. And the judgment doing long range stuff with the Magnate.
Since the judgment has Lumberjack and the red team has a breaker, it would seem that the blue team cannot really do something as a split engagement there, because the breaker will just close in on the
Yeah.
judgment. So the blue team needs to stay together. However, due to that Lumberjack, they would preferably just go for the Magnate, and with triple watch on that Corsair, they might try to, like right now, probably evade the breaker. Oh,
Epismoth
taking
already
some
almost dead.
heavy damage.
Yeah, and the breaker is ready for another volley there. Epismoth broken. And Bench is going in. Engineers on the Epismoth coming in with the clutch save of the armor. Rusty Ankles is uncontested as they shoot the judgment and kill the judgment. So, we have a winner of this series, and we won't need the third match, as Cathedral Architects wins another match.
It would
Fine
seem the
score
combination of Lumberjack
5-0.
on the Magnate and a quick breaker dealing a lot of perma damage on whoever's more vulnerable at the time, which was Judgment actually most of the time, was successful. And very successful at that, because scoring 5-0.
Okay, and the Cathedral Architects will then be moving on to the finals, which will be over at Lord of Spades. Twitch name is Lord of Spades. Convenient. And we still have to wait for one more match, I think. I'm actually confused by it right now. Never mind. We still have to wait for the last match of Fancy Bone vs. Canine Gamblers before we can give you the next one.
Interestingly enough, when I checked the score in that game, it was 1-1 before this game even started, so it was really, really fast.
So yeah, we will be back once we have the next match. Okay then, we're coming back and we're starting the drafting. Okay, starting the draft. And you will get to see that now. There we go. So this is the bronze match. So in here, in a best of 5, it will be determined who will be the 3rd of the tournament and who will be the 4th. So currently it's red team's turn to ban. And best fun is pondering with a goldfish. But he actually needs to click to ban.
And
Red team
ended
not
up
banning anything.
we ban Magnate, just saying.
Okay.
So in other words,
Red team banned
Okay,
Magnet.
best one's website is goofed or something. I don't know. Like he's not getting
There's no
updates
timer
on it?
going. There's no timer going for me.
I would suggest
Use Fizz
remaking
Fizz.
the.
We can very easily still remake.
Nah, do that.
Please.
So do we remake?
Please.
Please.
Okay, I will give you a little new lobby. So just behold the technical difficulties while I set up a second lobby. Set up a new lobby.
Since this is a new system, some bugs are difficult to avoid, I guess.
And oh god, this will be so bad. I will send in the link. Link is in the context channel. And then I will also set it up for OBS. You get to watch the magic process that I have to go through to give you the lobby. There we go. We have a draft lobby. Okay, I assume everyone is ready. And we're starting. Best one, do you have a timer this time?
Yes.
Good. So, this time red team actually bans a magnet. And blue team will most likely ban fish. I mean Pyrrha, sorry.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see a fish.
I mean, if they don't ban fish, I know that
They
Jan
did
likes to
not.
fly fish.
It's a rare sight to see a fish nowadays. But no.
And now the thing is that if they don't pick fish, I'm pretty sure that Moshana will pick one. Best one picking a Corsair here. It's Parrot and Rhombus, so yeah, I can see it working. And Moshana actually not picking a fish. Wait, a Carol Judgment?
He's probably picking for Miran, and then they could swap afterwards.
Yeah. But still, front Caronade on a Judgment? That's
Close
interesting.
range judgment with Gatling Mortar. I think it might have some sort of an edge of, for example, a blender fish, or in this case, a blender Corsair.
Yeah, because you can get all your guns really going, and also Judgment isn't as vulnerable to Crusader Rams as other ships are.
It's like a Spire versus blender fish. Imagine a Spire with heavy carronade and a fish with a heavy carronade, and they pop each other, but the Spire also has other front-facing guns to shoot. So
Yeah.
this Judgment has Gatling Mortar to wrap up the kill.
And Captain Jan actually has a normal Brawler Crusader prepared there, and they will probably just play the Watcher with the Caronade being banned. Caronade Artemis actually being banned here, and Mervyn actually gets to fly a fish as the last ship. I'm somewhat surprised. But yeah, that fish is for Moshana, probably.
Actually, it's not surprising to pick the fish as the last ship. Fish is easily countered. Also, it's not always obvious when you bring a fish, it's useful against many ships, but you don't know what enemy ships will
Yeah.
be. So
Yeah.
picking it last makes most sense.
But picking it last also has the risk of it being picked before you.
Yes, but for the reason I just mentioned, it's difficult to pick fish before when you don't know the enemy ships.
So, we have our ships here. And yeah. Moshana will be flying the fish, and Mervyn will be flying the judgment. Okay, and I will take you over to the lobby. There we go. Now we're in game. And it's time for the first round of our best of 5 Paraton Rumble. And our teams are the Canine Gamblers on red, that's Captain Jan and Best Fun. And on blue we have Steel, Legio, Lepidoptera, with the pilots Mervyn and Moshane. Also, the Ardayanos, the Crusader, Red Crusader, they got a proper staircase going.
Staircase.
Yeah, what I mean is, like, if you look at where the names are,
Oh,
the
you're right.
way they're
you're right.
offset, it's a staircase.
It's a beautiful staircase, actually. You don't see this kind of staircase very often. Look at their levels.
Okay. Fynx, if you would be so kind to press the button.
Most certainly.
Thank you. And we're off! So, I mean, judgment on Paraton might sound counterintuitive, but it's actually not too bad.
I've seen Judgment close range kind, and this is a close range kind. Barton winning the game.
I
definitely
personally
possible.
have flown Judgment on Paraton, but it was Nemesis front. I mean, let's see how it works out. I mean, we have the conclusion here. And ship number 1 getting us going here is the Arda Janos. It's a Crusader piloted by Captain Jan. And in the front we have double Watcher, in the mid deck we have double Flak, and on the top deck we have double Gatling. Ship number 2 is the Rambulance Corsair piloted by Best Fawn. Front Carronade, right side Flamer Watcher, left side Get Watcher, and aft Harpoon.
On the blue team, we have a Goldfish, 5th element, piloted by Mosin. It has a Watcher on the front, a Light Carronade on the right side, Gatling, Banshee on the left side. And the last ship on the blue team is a Judgment, Beppy's Moth, piloted by Miran. It has a heavy Carronade Gatling mortar on the front and Watcher Gatling on the aft.
And okay, teams are not really circling, luckily, around each other. Okay, never mind, they are. I mean,
The blue team opted for the frontal approach, the standard go through the middle option. The red team decided to circle around.
but circle counterclockwise, which is the unusual option.
And what? Oh,
I mean, usually both teams go clockwise.
really?
At least that's my experience. So, blue team goes up the left alley, and red team goes down the right alley.
Between the teams, the blue team has better potential of trying to scout something. The fish is probably the best ship out of these ships here that can actually go and safely pull out from any situation. However, they opt to stay together.
Yeah. Actually, red team going rather low, which is dangerous on Paraton as there's terrain everywhere, and you have heard us say it before, not maybe on Earl on this stream, but on others. The terrain doesn't mess around, and especially the terrain on the terrain on Paraton is aggressive.
It's very aggressive, but it can also be your best ally, helping.
It can be
winning
your best
possible
ally or your
engagements.
worst enemy.
Depending on your ability, I guess.
Yeah,
The
and also, to put it in perspective, you can think that you have 10 meters of space between you and the terrain, but the hitboxer says no, and you still die.
Anyway, the teams pretend they are in canyons and circle around the map
Yeah.
in that agreed fashion.
Oh, nope, well, seems like red team is turning around. Oh, but...
And the blue team splitting in order to get some scouting done by the fish, while the judgment staying in the cover.
Okay, red team is actually not really turning around, but somewhat. And we have spots! We have a spot! Huzzah! The shooting will begin soon. Oh, Crusader actually going for a really tight spot here.
Due to the nature of the map, it's super dangerous to be seen while not seeing the enemy.
Yo, oh, fifth element, actually sniffing out the Crusader here. And Crusaders, I mean, yeah, they're fine. I thought they got very dangerously close to the crane. Oh, but he just bumped something. Oh, and again, yeah, this little spike here. And they will now see the fifth element. Pepper's Moth actually... Is he drifting? He's not, okay, never mind. Pepper's Moth will now engage the Adayanos, which whiffs their first watcher there.
The Janus not getting any disables on enemy judgment, and the blue teams attempting to double team the Crusader.
Pepper's Moth gets popped by the Rambulance, and also follow-up Watcher, getting one of the engines disabled, but Rambulance needs to be a bit careful not to end up in any buildings, while Pepper's Moth is sinking down and out of the fight for now. With Element...
Whether the team has no ways to create an attack, use the situation, since they're split too.
Ardayanos being harassed by the fifth element. Ambulance popped as well. And is he going for a ram? No, he's not.
See, this is the edge that Judgment has here. With 3 guns on the front against Corsair that has only 1 gun actually straight pointing forward.
And the possibility for one more.
Or once the Corsair gets its side guns in arcs, that can be also used. Can't really say who's going to win at this point out of the heavy ships. As for Crusader and Fish, for the Fish to win against Crusader, they need to disable their engines and then shoot with the left side guns or ram them into the building. It seems the Crusader got kind of stuck, maybe? No.
Yeah, it does seem like they were briefly stuck on the building. And now they're broken, taking some of them. Oh, losing both engines actually. And Fish is immediately going for a ram. But that ram might be more problematic for them than beneficial.
Yes, it was not a good option. They lost some balloon at that, and the balloon is something they needed to...
Oh, and now, getting popped by the Corsair, they're sitting on the building.
That is extremely bad for the Fish.
And they might actually be rammed into a building. Oh yeah, now they're getting double teamed by both Crusader and Corsair, and end up getting rammed into the building. But Rambulance might follow them. Anyways, this is first kill for Canine Gamblers on red. Is that Judgment just ramming the Crusader? Yeah. So yeah, Babismov has no front guns. They're still holding on here.
Babismov's ability to fight against Crusader are severely limited due to the fact that they have this heavy carronade that is super ineffective against Crusaders in general.
Yeah.
And in the end, they got destroyed.
So, 7 minutes have passed in this match, and the score is currently 2-0. But Red Team has actually suffered a fair bit of damage there, with Rambulance being less than half having less than half of the perma, and also Crusader missing around a quarter of their perma there.
Yes, I'm not quite certain if the Corsair took damage from ramming the fish into the environment while having its armor down by Judgment, or were those mortars from the Judgment
I
doing
think
the
a bit
job?
of both. Because I definitely saw the mortar going at some point, but I'm not sure at what.
It would seem SOL is using charged on those mortars. I would assume that anything else than Lesmok from that range wouldn't be effective, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
It's a vital matter that can change the result of match.
The fifth element has been spotted and popped, and now also caught. But Babismov is ready to accept the Corsair here. Getting watched, losing their Gatling, and also the rest of their front guns.
This is a very bad situation for blue team.
Yeah. Rembrandt's getting into the position to get their right side watchers going on the Babismov, which will now sit down on a building. Rembrandt's actually also impacting. And fifth element.
Oh!
Oh! Getting
Here come
killed.
fireworks. Actually, Judgment managed to remain unscathed almost, despite the combined fire from red team ships.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Fish managed to get a situation where Crusader was easy to ram, and Crusaders are super easy and vulnerable to rams. Well, easy.
Yeah, I mean,
Vulnerable to rams,
they
not
managed to get
necessarily easy to ram.
in behind the Crusader. As the Crusader was facing the Babismov. And the ambulance goes down as well. Taking
I would
quite
have
some time.
I would have expected the red team to be able to get that kill on the Judgment due to the extended period of time shooting the Judgment, but the Judgment managed to survive. I don't know if those impact bumpers helped anything, but they did manage to tank it out.
Yeah. Okay, and with that we have 2-1-2. Best good advantage still for Red. Do we do have the same overtime rules as SCS. God, it doesn't matter where I move the camera, there's always a building in the face of me.
Those buildings, they're evil.
Yes. Okay. Do you think I have the 10 seconds I need to have a drink?
You may go. I will comment the situation in your stead, I guess.
The thing is, I have to move the camera.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay,
Stick
no.
to one of the ships.
But that's not showing the whole engagement.
Of course not. Very well, in this case, you're doomed to stay here and watch how they circle around the map in the similar fashion.
Okay. I have no. I mean, I guess once these points reach the stream, I will get comments in the chat like, is the cameraman asleep?
Of course, It's they never commend the good work, but when you do something wrong, it's always noticing.
Yeah, yeah. I had that happen a lot when I was streaming completely alone and in SCS, and I had to do some other things as well. And I would leave. And, I mean, there wasn't anything going on in the match, so I just all tapped and did something else, and then I would get comments. Is the cameraman asleep? Ooh, and okay, but what are they doing? Someone just bumped a building.
It's like Blue got kind of an edge here, able to catch red team unaware.
Also, the aft guns of the Judgment are still disabled.
Maybe they are pre-built.
Perhaps. So, blue team coming in here with quite the bang, going straight for the Crusader, getting them broken, and getting the Banshees going. It's the also mortar going.
However, we see no. Despite low perma-hull of Crusader, they're still alive, which means it's probably thanks to the Corsair that managed to get the pop on the Judgment. And now the fish is alone.
Adayanos is out of the fight for the foreseeable future. And Fifth Element still trying to get the kill on the Crusader here. And they will probably get it right now by reversing into them and somewhat putting them on a building. I can't
Still
really
not
see.
a good situation for the fish. Oh no.
And Fish ends up getting rammed into a building. Well, okay. That was a big clusterfuck.
Now, in this beautiful display of fireworks, I guess it came down to who pops who first. Although the Crusader died first due to their combined fire, I
Yeah.
guess Carnage
Also,
worked as
I would
quickly
like to
as
briefly
Paradis.
comment. So, Goldfish managed to get into this building here, and somehow the Corsair was able to ram them through this geometry. Okay, the hitboxes on this map, like the terrain hitbox on this map, are weird and sometimes just broken.
I think Kinforth is much worse.
You know that a lot of the buildings on Kinforth are from Paraton.
How? In this case, it might be connected.
Oh, and in this case, it might be the Judgment dying alone. As blue team is currently split up, and Judgment encountered both red ships. And, oh, the best one is dead set on killing that Judgment.
Crusader also taking some perma damage, however not enough to offset
Oh,
the
and
result of
Judgment
this engagement.
Was actually pinned down by the Corsair and sitting on terrain. And with that, the Ambulance is able to kill them off. Adayanos, on the other hand, taking a metric ton of perma damage. And they go down.
And somehow the fish manages to secure the last kill despite being in a situation where when it's, well, live or die.
But hey, with quite a bang of a first match, it will be SLL obtain the first victory. Final score of 5-4. So, I will briefly pause you here, send you back to the Be Right Back and the music, and we will be right back once we have everything set. And we're already going back. Drafting lobby, there we go. Now there's still one of the players missing. There we go. Everyone ready? Just confirming right now. I would assume they are. Okay. Here we go. Okay, starting the draft now. And we go off. Now it is SLL on the red side and then Gamblers on the and red team immediately banning Pyrrha.
Surprising, I guess.
That they not ban fish first?
I don't know. I would say that goldfish and pyramidian bans are to be expected, but if there's, well, at least one of them.
Yeah, and this is, I think, the first match for today where both fish wasn't banned. Actually, last match as well,
Yes.
obviously, but... Ah, surprising. A lot of goldfish. Or more goldfish than last week. Already. And Moshana setting up a watcher fish. With probably a banshee in the top back slot there. Yep.
The exact same thing as we saw the last round.
Yeah, Captain Jan in the process of setting himself up a Brawler Crusader. And in this case, actually a stock standard Brawler Crusader. Which is, if you brawl, if you get into the brawling ranges, this is a pretty good ship, I would say.
It has a lot of guns, a lot of firepower. Kills
And it
enemy
also, with this specific setup, it also has a pretty good all-round setup. Red team banning Heavy Caro.
and the blue team banning the Minotaur in order to prevent some potential counters for that Crusader that already was picked.
Mm.
Makes sense.
And Mervyn picking a Spire, Watcher Spire. That's actually exactly the Watcher Spire that I usually run. It's a pretty good brawling ship. If you get both Gatlings going. That can kill fast. Okay, yeah, okay, he isn't set yet. You can also, of course, you can also always run your Spire with double Banshee.
Gatling on the bottom is a risky option. Yes, they put the Gatling on the top.
Yeah. That's also a pretty common build. Actually, the previous build is rather uncommon. And this is more common.
This is like the most standard Watcher Spire you'll see.
Yeah. And what will red team do? Junker. Yeah, I mean, since there's only one light Caronate on red team. Yeah, I could see a Junker work. Only thing you need to look out for is Banshee spam.
Junkers also don't like Watchers too much, so I'm not sure if this is a good option. Also,
Okay,
yeah, they're switching completely.
With a Lumber on front. Oh, Heavy Karen is banned. Obviously a Lumber on front.
We've seen one ineffective triple Watcher also today, so yes, Lumber on the front.
'Cause, 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 'cause Okay, seems like this would be our ships. Indeed they will. Okay, these are our ships. Let me get you into the actual lobby. There we go. Go back to Twitch. Not this, this. And we have our minute going.
Looking at these layouts, who do you think has the advantage?
Hmm. I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll share our opinions once in game.
Mervyn, that's not a spire. That is a judgment. Okay then, ready up. There we go, we're going off. So,
On the red team, we
Cambush.
have Steel Legio Lepidoptera, and on the blue team, we have Canine Gamblers. Did I get it right?
So, currently, in the overall best of 5, SLL is 1 match ahead. But we still have possibly 4 other matches, so everything can still change. Also, the last match ended with 5-4, so, I mean, I would say that teams are evenly matched. To a certain extent.
Anything might happen.
Seems like someone is loading rather long. But we going off. We're going. So, ship number 1 is the 5th element. It's a fish, piloted by Moshene. Right side Carronite, light Carronite front, Watcher, left side Gat, Banshee. Ship number 2 is the Chicken Morph. It's a Spire, piloted by Mervyn. On the top deck we have Gat Banshee, on the bottom deck we have Banshee Watcher.
On the blue team, piloted by Captain Jan, we have Aderianos. It's a Crusader with Huacha right side, Heavy Carronite left side, Gatling and Light Flag on the right side, and Light Flag Gatling on the left side, on the, well, both sides. And the last ship is a Corsair Rambulance, piloted by Bestfon. It's a Lumberjack Corsair with Quatches on both sides, Gatling on the right side, Artemis on the left side, and Flag on the aft.
And we already have shots fired as red team is not sitting around and just rushed straight down the eastern passage. And is
It doesn't
already...
happen very often that the teams meet in the eastern passage, actually.
Yeah, and Rambulance actually getting double focused and... Oh, not getting ram killed. I am disappointed. But I was still... Oh, are you kidding me? Again!
Corsair is a very tanky ship, and they managed somehow to leave, but barely.
Yeah, but they are still fully disabled on that side. They are missing engines and the fish is still on them. So I doubt they will survive for much longer. But Chicken Moth is actually double broken while being under fire from the Crusader, uncontested.
Despite having, well, the Corsair being double teamed, the Crusader didn't manage to get an edge on the Spire.
Okay, Rambulance is popped. Fifth Element ends up being Watcher, which disables their Watcher. And somehow, the Crusader is... Corsair is still alive. And now Red Team is turning their attention to the Crusader, which ends up breaking to fire on the armor. And Chicken Moth actually turning for the Rambulance.
Chicken
We're
Mouth
looking-
as a spy extremely vulnerable to balloon pops getting popped by the Lumberjack on the Corsair.
Oh, and it actually seems like Adayanos just got finished off by the Fifth Element, while Chicken Moth is broken. But now they are in the rear of the Corsair, and the Corsair ends up being double focused. So will they finally be able to kill the Rambulance? Yes.
Imagine it's not going to be much of a challenge at this point.
Yeah. So this time it will once again be Red Team obtaining the first kill, the first 2 kills, but this time it's SLL. First kill Red. And 17 minutes on the clock, more or less. So, Fifth Element already moved around into Red Team's spawn, while the Chicken Moth is going around the far side. And Fifth Element...
As a fast ship, Goldfish is less vulnerable to suddenly meeting the enemy.
Yeah,
So
unlike
it's-
Judgment, for example. As
Yes,
seen
it's
last
more
match.
suitable to scouting, while the spy is staying away, waiting for the spots to happen. Although the spots did happen, so the spy is rushing to try to prepare an ambush.
Indeed. Oh, Chicken Moth actually Drift Spire. I just noticed that. So while
It's
the
a
blue
popular
team
option.
is currently focused on the Fifth Element, which is poking around, I guess. Chicken Moth is coming in from the side. Or from behind, rather, and with this setup, if they get in unspotted, they'll be able to get a pretty good drop.
It's a
Especially-
wonderful engage from the red team.
Yeah, Fifth Element now rushing, going straight in for the Crusader, while the Chicken Moth is going straight for the Corsair. Firing the Watcher, not quite getting the disables they want, I think. And Chicken Moth now ending up getting double teamed, losing... Actually, not really double teamed, but being broken, losing a lot of air engines, and almost dying. Ambulance was also broken, but they suffered barely any perma. And the Chicken Moth gets still holding on.
The Corsair also took some perma damage, but it's incomparable how well they can tank comparing to the Spire that has its paper for an armor.
Yeah, and the Chicken Moth is broken once more, holding onto a sliver of health there. Watchers being exchanged. Chicken Moth being barely able to shoot first, but not getting the Watcher.
Oh, this is a bad situation for the Crusader.
But also a bad situation for the Spire. Question is, who will die first? The Spire.
The Corsair came to help the Spire. The fish decided to
Seems to be running.
It was expected for the Spire to die anytime, so it was a smart move, you can say. Although the Spire had a chance of killing the Crusader there, so maybe the premature retreat wasn't actually the best option. They could have killed the Crusader there due to the good disable and some light guns.
So, Chicken Moth has respawned. Both blue ships have been spotted, and Fifth Element has been able to get a shot off on the other Janos. Not very effective though, and is already getting rammed by the ambulance. And
It's not a perfect situation for the blue team here, actually.
Yeah,
As long as the Crusader doesn't get rammed into the...
mountain.
Oh, they lost half perma-hull.
Ooh, and Ramblance also has a spire on its side, I guess. Which is not really going to the engagement as they get stuck on a mountain. But the Crusader dies on the side of the mountain. Speaking of mountains. Actually, they died to the chicken moth.
Well,
Well,
even
according
if
to
they
the
get
kill feed.
on the mountain, they still get the credit, right?
Yeah. And the Rambulance now gets finished off. With a little
Fine,
bit of
SL
terrain assist.
getting clear advantage 4-1. Maybe it would have been better for the blue team to have banned the fish in both those games, as it didn't work for them so far, not banning the fish.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that Kosse couldn't take a heavy carnate, which would be probably superior in this situation,
Yeah, definitely.
it definitely makes fighting both of the red ships more difficult.
Yeah.
Ramming isn't as effective if by ramming that means your weapon, your most powerful weapon that allows to control the enemy, is not working at all.
Yeah. Actually, let's see if I can. Okay, I can't actually. Sadly, I can't see the third ammo on the gunner of the Rambulance here, but I do see Burst and Lesmog. But still, even with Burst, Lumberjack still has an arming range of 150 meters, and with Loch, 80 meters.
You're right. It's not. It doesn't display. It displays only Lesmog and Burst. I would assume that the third ammo type is either some kind of charged. That's also good for Gatlings instantly, or
Yeah.
Locknaga. That's good for point blank range.
But still, even with Lochnaga, you can't be in the face, like literally ramming the enemy. Because then your Lumberjack doesn't arm. And if Lumberjack doesn't arm, it doesn't deal damage.
Exactly. The name Rambulance kind of conflicts itself due to the existence of that Lumberjack.
Yeah. What was it?
I was about to say we have classic canyons with teams circling around each other, or rather circling around the middle. However, the blue teams just
Stopped.
decided to sit in the spawn.
Yeah, or more precisely, red teams spawn. Which is the north of the map, and we have the fifth element spotting the Rambulance. And Allian is actually hard reversing right now.
It's a very smart way to engage in this situation.
The fifth element engaging, getting popped, but I think they will just reverse out right now. While they're waiting for the chicken moth to come in.
I'm surprised it took so long to pop the fish. However, oh, they're severely disabled and
Yeah.
in a very unpleasant situation.
Fish was double broken just and lost a significant chunk of their perma.
The
And now the
spire
chicken-
came to its help, but it also means the blue team can just focus on the spire
Yeah,
and kill it.
so right now, red team is a bit alternating, so that they only have one ship at the front, but that ship is taking all the damage. And now the chicken moth is eating flux from the Crusader, and suddenly half the perma is gone. And now the fish is going in again while the chicken moth is recovering. But they might actually get a good drop on the Adayanos here if you look at what the Corsa is going for the chicken moth. And the fish is going for the Adayanos. Okay. of getting a good watch off on the Ramblance, getting the break. Crusader broken as well. Remy is taking a lot of damage from those Banshees. Same with Crusader. And Crusader now actually getting rammed by the Goldfish. Don't think the Ramblance will be able to help them.
Would seem the Goldfish got successful disables on the edges of the Crusader, because the Crusader shouldn't ever allow this. And
Yeah.
this prompted the Corsair to help the Crusader in order to prevent his ally's death, but either way, it's not
That made him
working
vulnerable
clearly.
to the Spire. So... now both blue ships are very much disabled and in positions to be killed off by the red ships. And that's exactly what happens. Red team obtains the victory. Second match goes to SLL as well, with a final score of 5-1.
Unlike in the previous game, SRL took a rather decisive victory here.
Yes.
Well, it was kind of a hurt breath.
Yeah,
Wait,
the previous match
whatever.
was really close and could have, could have still gone both ways, especially in the end. This was more clear and more decisive. And yeah,
the blue team made some very specific mistakes that allowed the red team to just score the victory so easily.
and we will once again send you to a little break while we set everything up for the next match. Could maybe be the last one. We'll see. Okay, we're coming back, and there's the draft lobby. Okay, starting the draft. So, it's time for the third match. This time, Canine Gamblers, Canine Gamblers are on the red team, and SLL is on the blue team again. Red team immediately banning Fish. They're having none of it anymore. Also,
They decided to learn on the mistakes.
press a button.
Stand
And
the most
the blue
classic
team
ones.
immediately countering by Fish panning Pura. And Best Fun seems asleep. No, there we go. Change it to a Magnate. Caronite, actually. I would have expected a Lumber. No, okay, Minotaur. No? Caronite? I would expect a Lumberjack.
It's Lumberjack.
Yeah. Like, right as I said that, he changed to a lumberjack.
That's a classic all-purpose magnate.
Yeah, you have the somewhat close range side on the right, on the left, and the long range side on the right. And also good pressure against both armor and balloon. Then on the blue side, we actually have a Jacker. Actually, in last week, one team brought a triple flamer double caro Junker 2 times and won.
Yes, I remember the match. I was on the other side.
Oh yeah,
It was,
I just realized.
it was horrible. Nevertheless, it was someone else in Mersin. However, I've seen Mersin being pretty effective with his drift junker.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Okay, bringing actually Banshee on front. That's an interesting pick, but I can see it work.
it's
So
a kill side and a pop balloon side.
it's
on the
a
Junker.
man. You could also say it's a kill side and mess you up side. But not only popping, also putting things on fire.
Right, campers are very popular these days.
Okay, we have a lumberjack ban and we have a carronade ban. And what is Jan doing now? We have a spire. It won't be a lumber spire, but it can also very well be a minnow spire.
I mean, it's very annoying to the junker.
Yes.
And it's effective against Crusader, which is a possible pick. However, I would expect Muran to bring Judgment here as a counter.
Also, I should probably explain that when you see people bringing ships like a quintuple Artemis Junker or triple Artemis Squid there, Artemis is the first gun on the list, so it is put into every slot by default. For the heavy guns, it's the Heavy Flak Mark 1. And also, I think the ship list goes Fish, Pyrrha, Junker? Junker or Squid? Oh, that's an interesting one.
Remember? Probably Junker. Probably Junker.
That's an
Oh,
interesting one.
Black Gatling Squid. Amazing. However, this kind of looks like an experimental build.
It definitely looks like an experimental build.
I have my strong doubts. However, it may work.
Okay, let me get you over to the stream lobby. Game lobby, I mean. There is no such thing as a stream lobby. And there we go. So, getting everything set up. We have the Spire and the Magnate, and we also have the Junker and the Squid.
The reason people usually don't bring long range squids, and the squid kind of works mostly in long range, although it does have some close range potential with his out bifecta. The reason people don't do that is because long range usually doesn't bring the full potential of what squid can offer. Squid can get in some risky situation and pull out safely, while long range means the squid has to just stay in kind of one place and continuously shoot, although
Yeah.
it might work.
So, people have been asked to ready up, but it seems they're not really looking forward to it. So, Fynx, if you please.
I'll give them 10 more seconds and then
Getting plenty of time here.
starting.
There we go. So, we're on Northern Fjords, which is a very open map, but also has thick clouds.
The probably most important aspect of this map is extremely high ceiling, which
Oh, yeah.
means hopping doesn't work too well. I mean, it still works, just not as well as in some maps with lower sky ceiling.
Hmm. Yeah, you can go very high on this map.
Very high and very low. And try blending someone with the blender fish. It's a nightmare.
So, it seems like once again someone is loading rather long. But there we go. With ship number 1, the Nugget Launcher. It's a Spire piloted by Captain Jan. We have Minotaur Banshee on the bottom deck and Get Artemis on the top deck. Ship number 2 is the Magnetic Resonance. It's a Magnate piloted by Beston. On the right side we have Hades Flak Lumberjack. On the left side we have Gatling Artemis Watcher.
On the blue team, the first ship is a Junker Bucket List piloted by Mosin. It has a Banshee on the front, Flak Gatling on the left side, and Carnate Banshee on the right side. And the last ship is Furry Moth. It's a squid piloted by Mirwan. It has a laser on the front, Flak side, Gatling aft.
And it's also drifting.
A drifting squid. That's heresy.
Why is that heresy? Because
It's
squid is
actually not a heresy considering the laser, but it doesn't really. It's not very useful for the squid. Squid is naturally fast. So having drift in place of tools that you actually need makes no sense.
So, and you can very clearly hear that Fynx is in fact a squid pilot. So, listen to him, he knows what he's saying.
The Junker also has drift. That being said, I've seen this being used by Mosin and Squid pretty effective.
Oh, but
It's
the
actually
Nugget Launcher is taking a lot of damage there, and I was also briefly stuck on the mountain. Yeah, okay, Bucket List sitting in between the two red ships, and... okay, now they're getting punished for it, but... They had... Okay, Nugget Launcher goes down. First kill 2, also known as SLL.
Interestingly enough, in this particular game, the Junker took the role of someone making noise, which means getting between the enemy ships and trying to get their attention, while the long-range squid was dealing damage to the Spire.
Acting as a
Fascinating.
kind of a bait.
Usually it's the squid and not the Junker in this kind of
That
situation.
is true. And the magnet gets finished off. Also, at this point, worth pointing out, SLL is at match point. Yes, they are. Yeah.
They are 3 kills away from the victory and getting the 3rd place in the entire tournament.
Indeed. So... Also, that was a very quick first engagement here.
They do have drift sail, both of those ships. Although
Yeah,
this
so
is
they're covering a lot of ground quickly, and they they also managed to catch the blue team as they spawn.
it's a mind game.
Red team, I mean.
A red team, after being dead, has the chance of seeing where the enemy ships are going. However, it's still kind of a mind game. Whoever
Yeah.
guesses correctly where to spawn or where the enemies will spawn.
Okay, Bucket List getting the high advantage against the Magnetic Resonance here, who is not really able to get their guns going on the Bucket List. Also, please get off the edge of the world. I want to show these with good angles, not bad angles. Nugget Launcher broken, eating flak from the squid. Oh, and broken once more. This time the... okay, flak people are not necessarily asleep, but they still are a bit asleep. Oh, a Nugget Launcher once again eating the damage and getting killed, finished off. Magnetic Resonance is eating all the annoying fire from the right side of the bucket list and also gets killed. 4 minutes passed, 4-0 on the clock. So that averages out to 1 kill every minute.
Oh, the poor red team. It feels like they lost at the moment of ending the draft pick. The blue team just picked close range ships with utilizing the drift sail in order to make it even faster, get close to the
Yeah.
spire that isn't as effective long range, close range, due to that Minotaur, and Magnet that has a close range sight and a long range sight, which also doesn't work from close range.
So
When
on paper, if you ignore Drift Sail, this is a matchup that I would say would favor red team. Because blue team will take a lot of damage on the way in. But if you factor in Drift Sail and the fact that both of these ships are going at insane speeds, it shifts around.
personally, I disagree. I think even without Drift Sail, the blue team would be able to get suitable engagement due to the difference in, due to the fact that this map has such a high sky ceiling, the blue team could just go below and then hydrogen to the position of red ships. Obviously, Drift makes it easier.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see your point. Okay, Nugget Launcher eating the ramped up laser there. You can see how quickly that is dealing damage. And already broken. Varimov being on the receiving end of the Minotaur. Bucket List actually eating a pretty massive watcher there, disabling 4 of their 5 guns and an engine as well. More importantly, the main engine.
In 1v1 situation, the Spire should be able to win against the Squid. However, the Squid has the ability to evade the fire and dodge arcs. So the Spire can't really finish the kill on them.
Yeah. And now the Spire actually decides to focus their fire on the bucket list and once again get off the edge of the world. Nugget Launcher broken, no follow-up. And Varimov getting their aft Gatling going on the Nugget Launcher. With Flux going in, that dealt surprisingly little damage.
Actually lost some engines. In the meantime, however, they dropped and used the balloon to block some shots in order to survive and took no perma damage.
Okay, Nugget Launcher broken once more, bucket list still very much disabled. And seems like Magnet wants to sit down on top of them. Of the bucket list.
There is no possibility for the Squid to just go straight at the Spire and try to win the 1v1 engagement, which is something that close range guns would allow, but with long range, the Spire just hits harder and breaks the armor more often.
Yeah. Oh, bucket list actually getting bumped by the Magnet here. And still. So bucket list losing the left side guns again. And the Magnet actually popped.
Junker utilized the fact that the Magnet has close long range sight, trying to stay there.
Oh, bucket list actually broken right now, losing a third of their perma. But that leaves the Nugget Launcher vulnerable to the Squid.
After the
And
Junker,
they get blazed death.
well, it was mostly the flags after the laser did its job, but yes, it seems
The final,
Squid
the
managed
final
to get
stretch of
off
damage
quickly.
was dealt by the
I did actually expect the Junker to die faster once the ammo drops on the Junker. The perma holder is very low, so just be some shots of explosive weapons and Junkers go poof.
Okay, and with that, SLL is gets the bronze medal in this tournament. So, as Cook already asked, this is in fact it, and SLL will be receiving the bronze medal, while, Canine Gamblers gets the 4th place. So, I hope you had fun watching, playing, and see you tomorrow. Yeah, let me put that into the challenge really quick.
Tomorrow, so.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for streaming.
So, while I report scores, you can... Wait a second. You can talk much as you want.
And since I can talk as much as I want, let's discuss the issue of drift sail that looks like teams think was a decisive factor. It seems that one team bringing preemptively long-range ships, or kind of long-range ships, was the decisive factor here, which is the fact that the second team was able to abuse that, bringing the close-range ships that can get in quickly and have advantage over that. But obviously we can blame drift sail. Definitely drift sail enables the junker to perform as a quick ship. It wasn't necessary on a squid, but it didn't hurt, it seems.
So, and that brings us to the end of this stream. I hope you had fun watching. Fynx, thank you very much for being here and helping out. And also, co-casting.
It's my thanks to you too. It was a wonderful first-time experience for me.
So, and have I successfully convinced you that you are able to co-cast?
I will speak no further of this issue. There's no comment.
So, yeah, this has been it. I hope you had fun watching, and yeah, I will be live again tomorrow, giving you presumably the top bracket of SCS. And yeah, this has been Bori44, and I see you next time. Good night.